Shalom, welcome to my channel, The Hebrew Bible. This is Moses Gumadi, and in this video we'll talk about the verb of creation, Bara. Bara, we see that verb in the book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 1. Bereshit bara Elohim et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Bereshit bara. In beginning, or in the beginning, there is no there is no article. Bereshit. Some people say this is in the construct. However, there are 5 or 6 locations in the Hebrew Tanach where the word Reshit is not in the construct. Secondly, the reason why I don't think this is in the construct is because the next word is not a noun, it is a verb. Some people make it bero instead of bara and then make it a participle or something like that, or maybe an infinitive, make it like a noun, a verbal noun or a verbal adjective, and try to make it like a construct. But that's not what is going on. This is a verb. It's a kal katal, bara. Okay, let's get to this root, bara, bet, resh, aleph. Actually, when we talk about the roots, you should not put any vowels. Okay, only this bet, resh, aleph without the vowels is the root word, which means to create. But actually, if you put these commas, then this is in the katal conjugation, in the kal stem, and it means he created. It's a perfect, it's in the perfect tense, if you would like to say in terms of the tense, but it's not a tense. So it is in the perfect, meaning the thing is done. Bara, he created. This root, bet, resh, aleph, occurs 54 times in the Hebrew Bible, and I'm going to discuss some of its variants in the Hebrew scriptures. Now, what is the meaning of bara? So, the lexicon, this is the Brown Driver Briggs lexicon, a BDB lexicon, which is a bit old. The modern, like the latest lexicon would be Halot, H-A-L-O-T, which is Hebrew and Aramaic lexicon of the Old Testament. That is supposed to be the latest, but it's quite expensive, comes in 5 volumes, very costly, but this is good enough, a sort of lexicon. This one, BDB, is quite robust. Another thing that we obviously need to do while we look at the meanings of these words is to look at how these words are used internally. Okay, so bara is, the meaning is to shape or to create. So create is the general meaning. In Arabic also, there is a root which is similar to that, which means to form or fashion by cutting. I think I really like this fashion by cutting, because the cutting business comes in the PL form we will look at shortly. Okay, so here we have the PL where we read about cutting down in the forest, cutting down wood. Also, to be fat, we'll discuss about being fat. You have made yourself fat. It's only one occurrence in 1 Samuel. So we'll look at some of these cases. So, the word bara has many forms. If you have looked at my videos on the verbs 1 on the first video, part 1 and part 2, I will put the links below in the description for the verbs. You will notice that the verbs are defined by 3 major dimensions, which are number 1, the conjugation, and number 2, the stem, and the number 3, person, gender, number. These 3 things determine how a verb is inflected from the root. So here the simplistic form is the bara, which is the 3rd person masculine singular of kal katal, he created. Vayivra would be and he created. This is a vayikthol form. Bero is of course infinitive construct, bero. Beraam, barati, I created. Yivra, he will create. Bera, this is create, meaning imperative, telling someone. David says, create in me a clean heart, O God. That's the occasion where this word Bara occurs rather than Bara. This is imperative. Okay. Bara'am, you created Baratha. Baratha. This is not Bara'am. I just didn't read the ta. Baratha, you created. This is again Baratha. So this is a singular, that one is plural. Borecha, your creator or your creators will look at this plural. Why have I highlighted? That's because this is a bit of an odd one, so we'll look at that. So similarly, we have all these, Bore is the creator, but actually it is a participle. The one who creates is how it is understood, but Bore is in the participle. Here also we have Bore is creating, it's a participle. Again, Ubore and creating participle. Okay, so I mentioned, we looked at various few cases. One thing that I want to say is that all of these instances I have listed down here are in the kal stem. Kal stem. In all of them, the subject, meaning the one who is creating, or if it has been mentioned in the nifal, I'll talk about the nifal. So nifal is a passive one. Here this is kal. So the subject here is God. God is doing the creating in all these cases. Okay? Right. So that in that way, that it is true that some people say that this word bara, created, is exclusively used for God. That is true, but with a caveat, in the sense that this root bara is used exclusively for God only in the kal and the nifal stems. I'm going to show you shortly nifal as well. But in the kal stem here, all of them are for God. Okay. Now here we read here, Borecha. Uzechor et borecha bime bechurotecha. So remember also your creator in the days of your youth. Now that word borecha means actually thy, that is singular, masculine, second person masculine singular. Thy creators, what word? Plural. This is the only instance where in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 1, we read this, where God is referred to in the creating verb as being plural. And so this is a bit of a worry. So why is he using Borecha? Well, people have easy answers. Trinity. Well, is the answer so simple? We'll see. I will show you a couple of other examples where such plural cases occur, but a different verbal root. But if you see the singular form of it, so the previous one is borecha. So there is a yod. If you get rid of the yod, slightly change the vowels. Bora'acha. Bora'acha means thy creator. So which is a singular one here. Okay. This also occurs in the Bible. It is in the list that I showed you earlier. Okay. Now, so why is this word in the plural? How many creators are there? Why does it say creators? So let's get some fundamentals right? So in the book of Isaiah 45 verse 8, we read, Ki cho amar Adonai bore hashamayim hu ha-Elohim yotzer haaretz ve'osahu konna, right? So and the one possessor. Lo tohu berah la shevet yetzarah. So he did not create it in vain, or he did not create in vain. That's what but to be inhabited. Okay, right. So Komar Adonai Bore Hashamayim. Thus saith the Hashem, YHWH, the creator of the heavens. He who ha Elohim yotzer haaretz. He is the God who formed the earth. And then he says, Ani Adonai ve'ein od. So this one who is singular. Bore is in this. Of course, it's in the bore is basically a participle. So leave that one there. Yotzer we have, and then who again it's a singular. Ani is singular. So God speaks in the singular, and He says, "Eino," there is no one else. So clearly, in the book of Isaiah, singular God is saying, I am God, I am Hashem, I am YHWH, there is none else, and I am the creator of the heavens and the earth. Well, someone clever might reply that, hey, this Borecha, your creators, is about the creator of the man, not the heavens and the earth. Oh, as if others were involved in the creation of man. Well, we have a verse in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 where God said, let us make man. So Na'aseh Adam Betsalmenu Kidmutenu in the plural. So we probably have a clue. No, we really don't. Let's see. Anochi asiti eretz ve'adam aleha varati. I have made the earth and created man upon it. Anochi, singular first person pronoun. It's not plural. Anochi asiti. Again, this is a singular verb. Asiti. Eretz. Ve'adam aleha varati. This is barati. Basically, in the flow of the sentence, they don't pronounce ba instead of say va, so that dagesh is gone. But if you take the word by itself, this is in the pausal form, basically, because of also the Tanach here. So it is barati, means I have created man. So this barati and asiti, both of these verbs are in the singular. Anochi is the pronoun, first person, singular pronoun, and that's a singular as well. And he says, I have created Adam, the Adam, man, upon the earth. And so, even the creation of man is done by the singular God. Ani, Yadai, Natu Shamaim. So he says, even my hands have stretched out the heavens. All their hosts have I commanded. Vechol Sava'am Siveti. Siveti means I have commanded. I have commanded. This is in the singular, this verb. Asiti, Barati, Siveti. They're all singular. Anochi, Ani, both are first person singular pronouns. So there's no doubt, beyond doubt, in fact, that God has been a man has been created by a singular God. So then the question comes, why is Solomon saying in the book of Ecclesiastes that remember thy Borecha? So why is the creators in the plural? Okay, there are a couple of there is one verse where we have a similar phenomenon going on in the book of Isaiah 54:5, where we read about the city Zion, or the woman Zion, who is compared to the wife, metaphorically for God, and the children are the Israelites, right? And he has put her away. We read about that in chapter 50, and now he says, I'm going to build Zion back again with all the beautiful stones, precious stones, etc. You can read that in Isaiah 54. So he says here, Ki vo'alaich. This is bo'alaich, meaning the Baal, or the husband or the master of thyself, or your master. That is, this is in the feminine, second person feminine singular pronominal suffix, meaning it's the person whom he is talking to, that's a female. He's saying your, so for your, this your is in the feminine, your maker, your bo'alaich, meaning your husband or your master. Osaich, meaning your maker. Who is he? these both terms actually are plural. Bo'alaich or saich. They are plural. You can go to Blue Letter Bible and open this verse and click each word, and you see a pop-up box that shows up, and it will show you that they are plural. And who is it? It says Adonai Tsevaot. YHVH Tsevaot. So why is it in the plural? Do you know why it is in the plural? Because this word Tsevaot is in the plural. This one is singular. YHWH is singular. But Tsevaot, you know what it means? It means armies or hosts. Now, usually Adonai Tsevaot is translated in almost all the Bibles as the Lord of hosts. The word of doesn't exist in the Hebrew, biblical Hebrew. The word of comes because of a phenomenon, what is known as a construct. So in a construct chain, where there are a couple of nouns, two or more nouns in series, one after the other, it's called a construct chain. The nouns which are before the last noun are all supposedly they are supposed to be in the construct, not in the absolute. So whenever they are in the construct, you would put the word of. But these nouns are in the construct only when those nouns are common nouns, meaning Elohe Yisrael, that is Elohim of Israel, is called Elohe Israel. So that is God of Israel. Torah of Moshe would be called Torat Moshe. So that Torah and Elohe both are in construct. But for proper names, proper nouns, where here in this case YHWH is a proper name of God, it applies only to Him, exclusively to Him, and this is a name forever that belongs to Him, by which He has made known Himself to the children of Israel, and by this name He has made a covenant with them, and it is through this name that the Israelites relate to Him, and this name is a proper noun, and therefore it cannot be in the construct, and therefore the translation YHWH Tsevaot does not mean, strictly speaking, the Lord of hosts, although I might be also saying many times the Lord of hosts. In the translation it's called Lord of hosts. But now, since we are talking about this subject matter, it basically means Hashem hosts. YHWH hosts. What does it mean? What does this mean? It means that, so I am there, but I have 10 fingers, right? So they are plural. My fingers are 10. I'm one person. And my fingers are a part of myself. I have 2 hands, 2 legs, and 10 fingers in the hands and 10 toes on the feet. So, and I can stretch my hand and grab with one hand or the 2 fingers one thing, and maybe try to pick another thing with another finger, and I stretch my left hand, do something else with the left hand, right? So you can do multiple things because you've got a dexterity, because you got the hands, you got it. Adonai Tsevaot, hosts. Hashem, the Lord of hosts, as we call Hashem hosts. He does His things, does the work in this world through His hosts. We read in the book of Isaiah chapter 6, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tsevaot, Melo Kol Haaretz Kevodo. Meaning, holy, holy, holy is YHWH hosts, YHWH armies. The whole earth is full of His glory, meaning His hosts are present all over the world. That is, He is present and working in and through the hosts. When I stretch my hand and pick up a thing, and when I stretch the other hand and do something else, it's my brain controlling. And so that's what is going on. Okay? He is there. David said, if I go up into the heaven, you are there. If I go down into Sheol, into the abyss, If I go into the sea, you are there. Where can I go and escape your presence? So he is present everywhere, and he carries his work through the hosts. So when he created Adam, he had already created the systems and the structures through which he created Adam. For example, when he created Adam, he made man out of the dust of the ground, right? And breathed into the nostrils the breath of life. So he's using what is there available naturally. He's using the natural forces. He's using the mechanisms and the structures. Meaning, God made the machine that builds the machines first, and then created the machine through that bigger machine. Okay, I'll say that again. You know, Elon Musk at Tesla keeps saying this one always. The machine that builds the machine, what is it? That's the factory. So you need to design the factory first, which then produces the cars. So before man was created, God had already created the earth and the heavens, all the elements that are there which are a part of our body, all the mechanisms, the physical forces and the mental forces, and the chemical reactions that happen, the oxygen that is needed, and all the kind of things that work. All these things are there everywhere. He's created them. And then he makes the man. So, Adonai Tsevaot. So what Solomon is doing is he's basically pointing out to the fact that God has created man through the use of multiple forces which are his own. Okay, that's all it means. Okay, it all means. So Hashem is single, but he works through his, not three, innumerable hosts, multiple hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. That's the meaning. Nifal, coming back to the root Bara, Nifal is a stem which is in the passive. Kal is in the active, but Nifal is in the passive. So we have when he caused them to be created, he caused them to be created. This is a longer one. Baram. This occurs in Genesis chapter 2, I think verse 4. Or maybe 5. We'll see. I think in chapter 2. And then Baram, all these different things we see. They're all in the passive. Looking at this one, Baram, it means when he caused them to be created. So this is am is them. That's the ending. Okay, that is a pronominal suffix. Bara is there. Hibbaram, basically makes it hifil. That's the caused. The cause is coming from there. And be is a prefix. Okay. A lot of people, some rabbis, what they do is they try to do a midrash with this. They try to do a metaphorical meaning. That they switch the aleph with the he, and then it becomes, the letters become Avraham. If you take out the bet, and so the Be Avraham means in Abraham. So they try to tie both these concepts, Behibbaram and Be Avraham. So just mentioning you might have come across this, but this is how they do it. They switch these letters Aleph and He. Now, so if we discount the Kal, by the way, the Nifal, all these Nifal are also, the creator, the one who creates, although these are Nifal passive, the ones who are created, obviously something else, but the creator himself is God in all these cases. Okay. So wherever you see Kal or Nifal, it turns out in the Bible that the verb bara belongs exclusively to God. However, the same root, bara, when used in the PL stem or the Hifil stem in one case, in all these cases, it is somebody else. For example, the house of Joseph, house of Joseph, in the Vekatal PL, Vekatal conjugation, we read that Joshua tells the house of Joseph, or all the heads of the house of Joseph, to go to he says, hey, this land is not sufficient, is what their complaint was. And he says, go to the mountains, cut off the trees, or what he doesn't say cut the trees, but he uses this word, essentially, which could mean to expand or to cut off the trees, cut off the forest, clear the forest, and expand their land. That's the point. Okay, so cut off. So we saw earlier, right? So when we looked at the meaning of the PL in the in the Bara, here we see in the Arabic it is fashioned by cutting. So the fashioning is there in the creating, but the cutting is also there. So that is captured in the PL in Hebrew. And so here we have these two cases. They cut the trees. Now these three these two, I think at least the first, these two to Ezekiel 21 and the other one, I think Ezekiel 21, these two, where Ezekiel is told to, choose a particular fork. There is a fork. He's called to choose, or there's some people translate it differently. So that is also, it is given in the sense of to cut. And even this is to cut or to kill somebody or get rid of somebody by cutting. Uvare, this one. And this one, lehav riachem, this is in the Hefil. And the sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, have, it says, they have fattened themselves by cutting themselves off from the rest of the people, by taking things to themselves which should have been shared with others. Or they're trying to be so special, cutting themselves off by enriching themselves. That is what was happening, which is translated as fattening themselves. That's why in the Hefil, it says they're fattening themselves. So when they cause themselves to be cut off, not to the disadvantage, but to the advantage, that is to grow, basically, expand. So that's what is going on. So in all these cases, the cutting, the idea of cutting is also happening. Now, so how can the word create and cut go together? Since the root is the same, how can we merge these two concepts? So the way it happens in my mind is that, like in cell division, things grow. For example, things when a baby is born, before he is born, obviously when his baby is conceived, there is a cell division that takes place, and slowly the baby grows, fattens, in this sense, meaning it gains mass. But how does it happen? There's a cell division. One cell becomes two becomes 3, 4, 5, 8, and, it basically goes exponentially. 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, and 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, etc. Right? So that sort of a cell division. It's a division, it's cutting, but it's cutting to expand. Even the people, where the population growth, right? So the children are born. Before they're born, they're a part of the parents, and then they're born and they become separate. And then they have further children and grow. So there is a growth in the separation, in the cutting. So to make a new thing by cutting off by chopping off a part of something to make a new thing. That's the real concept as I see it. This idea comes when we merge both the meanings that underlie the kal and the PL and the Hefil stems, of course also Nifal. And when we see them all together in a holistic manner, then that's the sort of image we see. So the world essentially comes out, right? The Kabbalists, the some rabbis, they teach that when God created the world, he withdrew. So from where did he create? He says, from within himself. How did he do that? So he first vacated a place to create the world in that vacated place. So he was, because before the world was there, he was there everywhere, if you can call it everywhere. Even the space-time didn't exist, but he's by default present in all dimensions. And so he had to empty of his presence to create a non-divine space and time, non-divine entities. To create a non-divine, he has to withdraw his divinity, and that's called Tzimtzum. And once he does that, he puts senses light. So that's the darkness, the void and the darkness we read about in Genesis 1:2, where ha'aretz hayata tohu vavohu, there is a chaos, in that place. And then he sends his light and creates an order within that area by sending the light, and divides the light from the darkness and all that stuff. And then the creation takes shape. And that this creation then is a non-divine creation, but it contains a spark of divinity which was sent in the form of the light, also in the form of the breath that God breathed into the nostrils of man when he created Adam. Okay, so that's the Piel and the Hefil things that I showed you earlier. So these are the list of the verses. So that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe and comment, and hopefully I will try to make more videos going forward. And I will see you again in the next video. Thank you very much.